Yes, Bwana Sitati. So, punguze makali ya maswali.
Now, there was a place you were presenting about 9. You said because of registering
Yes.
Sacco,
Yeah.
you went for 9. So I don't know if you can go up to that place.
We went for 9, and an idea that we could also have representation from the main ministries where the business will be coming from.
Yes.
Was accommodated but not defined.
Now my question is,
yes,
the composition of this board
of
directors shall
reflect
asset size and the regional
representation.
Expound.
Okay, this is in the fullness of time. In the fullness of time, there will be need that for you to be a board member, your SACCO must meet certain criteria. In the fullness of, otherwise for now, all of us are new, isn't it? 2, that they should not come from one region. They should embrace diversity. So it is likely to assume the same structure that we even have in KETSA. Even KETSA today is directors are drawn from regions, isn't it? So it's the same model. Same model. The same model you have with COP, CIC, CUSCO, the same model. Are we good? Okay. So allow me to take you to the last stretch. So that now you make further decisions. Tomorrow, you are supposed to have a first general meeting. A first general meeting has very basic discussion because it is a first general meeting of an infant. And so I want us to appreciate this is where we are. Actually, we are here. The lounge. So we are launching an institution that has no office of its own, has no even by the way, have you even opened an account? So we are going to agree even here where the account, maybe we'll agree tomorrow, but I am just preparing for this conversation. And under normal circumstance, these are the agendas of a first general meeting. Whichever type of a cooperative you are dealing with, whether you are dealing with a union, or whether you are dealing with a primary cooperative, whether you are dealing with a federation. These are the main agendas. Indemnity for the elected board of directors. Number 4, fix the maximum borrowing powers. Number 5, approve a budget and any other business. Now, these are the typical agendas in a first general meeting. But we have said it is a first general meeting at this stage. At this stage. So you may consider whether you want to go full throttle or whether you want to give advice. Like for example, agenda like number 4, you may not even have it because you are likely to borrow in the next 1 year, isn't it? Unlikely, unless you get a donor who gives you money. Otherwise, you know the procedure of getting borrowing powers. Remember now this is a cooperative. You know the procedure of getting borrowing powers, isn't it? So you must have audited accounts. So I see agenda number 4 as an agenda that may not bother us so much. Agenda number 5, how would the union spend its money? So you first of all ask, does it have money? So you would allow that KETSA support it until such a time. Then you could agree on how do you deal with agenda number 1. Even agenda number 2, we may defer it, isn't it? Because the business at hand, KETSA has already a secretariat. So you could defer it and then set a date where now some of these things now will be done in a more organized manner, so that you do not burden a young organization. They are agendas of tomorrow, but I want you to canvass them today, so that when tomorrow comes, it will be a touch and go. A touch and go. And the reason why I am saying you can reverse them, then you approve them tomorrow, is because they must be done in a properly constituted first general meeting. Yes, the letter I can see there's a heart there. Oh, yeah, so let's canvas. Director Mnene, now the questions you're asking of separation, and I think the chairman responded to it very well, that you can do a policy. That was actually the advice, that do a policy so that you can agree how do you want to distribute. Yeah.
Kindly, personally, I would wish to have a lot of guidance from you. I wish you could go back to the proposed resolutions. Can you?
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Can you go back to the resolutions?
Yes.
Now, the way we were talking about the leadership of KETSA, in the bylaws, kindly.
Oh, in the bylaws.
Where we were, kindly. I started guided. It's always good to number 2. You see, when we raised a reservation on number 2, we were well guided by the chair that it is arising from that. Then we shall get to the nitty-gritties and come up with the policies so that we are able to expound on that and to thoroughly polish up that, to say who is to be where, at what time, and what are the policies. So at that point, do we say that the bylaws now are in order or they are not in order? Are the bylaws of KETSA now obsolete in themselves? Can we operationalize them because it is now a final document? Or what shall we be referring to tomorrow, even as we do the first annual general meeting? That is one point. You tell us the status of the bylaws of KETSA as it is now in this workshop, and referring to what the chairman has already alluded to. Then we come to the AGM tomorrow. So as we hold the AGM tomorrow, shall we be legally mandated to do that, to elect, the board for KETSA? Is it now again obsolete, or is it interim, given the status of the bylaws that we are having? Is it expressly lawful?
Very well, thank you. And that's a very good, that's a pointy question. So we start by saying this. For any cooperative to be registered, there are people we call promoters. So the promoters, in this case, became the board members of KETSA. So for any cooperative to be registered, it has what we call the interim officials. So the interim officials were the interim officials of KETSA. For reasons well understood, isn't it? Now, when we were crafting this bylaw, very many thoughts. Thought number 1, how do we create a distinction between KETSA and KETSA? So do you say expressly in the bylaw that we separate those two leadership? How do you make sure that it is democratized? That you do not have, for example, one board member leading KETSA is also the same, another board member from the same society is also leading KETSA? Now, that became a very complex environment. When something becomes complex, you do not put it in a document where you have no flexibility. That is how the idea of an electoral policy was born. So the electoral policy now will be saying, because KETSA has, now this by the way is just like now, I'm thinking with my mouth open, as they say. Because KETSA has a stake in the SACCO, they should have at least one board, two board. 2, the board of KETSA and the board of KETSA should be different. If we get a chairman elected from this society, the CEO from that society should not form part of the effort. Those are too many things to put in a bylaw. So the bylaw is like the constitution, where so many acts can be born. Now the acts could be the policy, they will be the subsidiaries born from the Bible. Then to answer the last question you said, whether it will be legally in place for you to conduct the elections. That is how we do for all newly born cooperatives. In fact, most of the time you discover, you have even stated how much one should harvest deposit when you are registering a cooperative, but none of those members have attained. You may then consider the wisdom of saying, because this, just think about objective number F, of separating the central fund to go to the second. Just think about that. That's a lot of policy and administrative issues, isn't it? And so you may want to create what we call a smooth transition. That could invite you then even to say, now set up structures, put policies, let's do a proper election year 1, year 2, or year. That would be the wisdom of the delegates who are here. So that you move, you allow this baby being born to transit in a good way. I hope I have attempted, if not fully, to respond to that. Yes, very good.
Now, we have an election policy for the SACCO.
No. That policy, once it is operationalized, that is one that the Cameroon was using. Operational, it will be operationalizing. How then do you go about it? This society is doing its first general meeting today. Yeah.
So that's why we are saying,
Yeah.
you now read the spirit of this gathering, that moving forward, arising from the lessons that we have learned elsewhere, hatutaki ukiritimba. Lazima tuondoke kabisa.
Ukiri? Najifunza.
We don't want to know politics.
Oh, okay. Yeah, so I think you're already speaking to the policy. But I know the easiest way of achieving it, by the way, unahitaji kwa Kiswahili? Ukiri? I see you during lunch for more Kiswahili words. But I think you are seeing also where we are, isn't it? So that you can transit, but that would be a very good policy insight when you'll be developing it. In fact, what I'm getting from you, Director Mulane, is that let there be separation. Yes, no, you have the mic.
Okay. I think delegates is good to consider an issue that we've been having. When county government came, there was a transition authority. And the TA was an important role.
So you are
Yes. Because without it, very many assets that were there would have been wasted. I think we need a TA also, a transition authority that is going to be informer of the KETSA board proposed, so that they can move the assets of the Sacco from KETSA. And this is my proposal. Because the board, the current board is the one that knows where these assets are, in the form that there are those that have been generated maybe by activities of KETSA. They need to be in a certain bank account. There are those that for Sacco, they be moved to a different account. So as we think about tomorrow, I think it's good to think about transition. And that transition, for it to be smooth, think also that the board that is there can maybe formed as a transition board. That's my take.
Very well. Allow me to make a comment just to moderate that observation. That the only objective in KETSA that will be touched by Sacco is one. It is objective towards F, isn't it?
Yeah.
So even this thing we are calling migration of assets, it is only assets pertaining to F. But I agree with you 100% that that transition is a journey. Is a journey. And so he's literally saying the interim committee be given time until all those other structures have been, and there is a clear separation. Yeah, a very good comment and observation. Any other?
Maybe that's what I said.
Oh yes, yes.
Because now when we are talking of that item,
Yes.
CFF, now currently the chair said we are CEOs when we are going to file returns and such that our life is going to be simple in such a way that we are not going to be asked why this money gets. They look at KETSA as some offers.
Yeah.
So now we have now the SACCO. So when are we going to move this money from KETSA to this? So that when we are filing our books at the end of this year, will the money have been moved from KETSA to the new entity?
Okay. Yeah, I think that question, Chairman, you covered. It was part of the fund transfer. But I agree with you. And what makes me happy is that the journey of registering a SACCO was a journey that was very consultative, including the approval of the bylaw. We say, because this is an institution, those of us who have been doing amendment of bylaws recently, you have noted for you to have your bylaw registered by the commissioner, you need to get something we are calling no objection from SACCO. You have noted that, huh? Yeah. We followed the same route. Did the bylaw, presented it, and when the regulator was satisfied. So in other words, the regulator is also aware of this journey and appreciate why this journey is being taken. So I agree with you that now that would be part, and I know, Director, part of even the communication now is that now the SACCO is in place, the regulator is aware, and now the matrix of fund transfer should now also take root. So, yes, Director.
Now, my brother there has mentioned a very nice thing, yeah? As number 8, resolutions. You see, those are issues to ponder today, tomorrow, and the day after. Number 8, I request that you also write the formation of the transition authority, yeah? Because that one will help us so much, even as we shift. And for the sake of tomorrow's meeting, sir, my own take, we should craft the items of agenda very well. Since morning, we have been talking about semantics. You see, application and use of language. So when it reads that election of the board, then aside, we are being told that it will be interim. And the agenda does not read like that. We know Kenyans. We know Kenyans. So can the items of agenda be crafted very well? That it is the election of an interim body. You see that word? Because we should be having something that will vindicate us tomorrow.
Well, you may not even make it an interim. You may, you can confirm the interim to continue for 1 year or for 2 years. You can form it, but it is not necessarily, what is the meaning of an interim? An interim committee should serve for 3 months. So, but if you are allowing the interim, you are confirming the interim to run, then you can put, this is the supreme decision-making organ. If you say the interim to run for 1 year, that is binding. It is binding. So, but we don't need to call it an interim, because when you call it an interim has also limited power. So, but you can confirm the interim to continue for 1 year or whatever time you feel satisfied. Yeah. So, and that committee then can simply become the transition committee, can manage the transition. In fact, if, for example, you tell the interim continue for this period, then the TOR will be very clear make sure that there is a proper separation, and which will be reported in the next general meeting of delegates, whether annual or special. It is known, because it is a new institution, within 18 months, it must have its first now annual general meeting, within 18 months. Okay. Niko na swali ingine yenye nastahili kujibu.
Yes, sir.
Thank you. I just want to support what my brother said here. Yeah. This one is still a young baby. Na tukiwekea a lot of heat ndani yake, na hii ni mtoto ambaye bado inakuwa, tusiwekee siasa mingi ndani. Let us, I feel ya kwamba I want to support one my brother here was saying ya kwamba let us have wale ambao wametusaidia, wameongea na the SACCO, wameendeleza hii kitu kidogo, wache ikue kwanza. Huko mbele we'll be able now to conduct proper election vile tunafanyanga, lakini kwa sasa because it is still a young baby, let us allow our brothers who have actually worked so much hard kuona ya kwamba tumeendeleza jambo hili, wache tu kwa muda kidogo waweke foundation so that now we will have time huko mbele tufanye ile mambo hayo kulingana na ile sheria ambayo tutakuwa tumeweka.
Very well. And I'm actually getting the point, even for delegates. Even the delegates should just transit until such a time now we'll be able to do proper elections of delegates. So even for us who are here, we should also consider ourselves as also transiting delegates. Whether now we shall say what Director Murende said, that you should not be a delegate in KETSA or a delegate in Sacco at the same time, hiyo ni uamuzi wenu. Na policy italetwa kwenu. You should be the people who say, let us create a split. Hiyo jina ya Kiswahili imepotea. But you will be the people who will be making those decisions. You know, Chairman, I have a feeling that the more I sit here now, I will be delivering a point that is already home. So I want to thank you most sincerely for your time. I was very excited of the kind of debate that we generated in the morning. And I'm happy that, because the whole idea was bring it home. And I have a feeling that you have understood the rationale and why even time was of essence. Because like what Sitati has raised, you don't want to come back here to go registering your books and you have what has been done and nothing has been done. So the leadership also had to do something, and I want to thank you that you did it well. This institution belongs to you people. You define how it will be governed. Now I should go sana.
Asante sana. Let's once more appreciate Nelson Nyoro. He's responded to the concerns raised best of his ability, and definitely, as you've been told, it's a work in progress. We keep building.
Karibu. Treasure. Kuja na mkono ya baraka. Kuja na mkono ya baraka. Kuja na mkono wa baraka. Mr. Omoro, nyote mmemjua. Tumekuwa na yeye for the longest. A very humble, supportive man, and we have liked your participation and contribution. So our bylaws allow us and demands that through the welfare kitty, through our welfare kitty, which we contribute each of us, remember 12,000 per year, each delegate. From it, we also hit up on this. So can you salamia Bwana Omoro? Thank you so much. 1K ambayo tunambariki mmoja wetu. Labda bila unaniangalia vile kama unataka kusema you really at me and I want to like to suggest that you know to say something. Please welcome.
National Chair, KETSA, KETSA Board and the CEO, and Chairman of our SACCOs who are here, the Board, and the CEOs who are from various SACCOs, even our facilitators who are present. Good afternoon. To you. Yeah, I'm delighted to be here with you. Like the chair has alluded, it has been a long journey with you, and I'm impressed to be here. You know, sometimes, such a time I'll be at home in the farm, but KETSA has made me to be here today. So I'm very grateful to you, KETSA, not only inviting me to be here, but also KETSA has made me see very many areas of the world. Guangzhou, Turkey, you mentioned them. And this is the spirit. When I chair, I'm grateful for this one. As I wait for TSC to do something, I think I've started a life. I wish it is enhanced. Now that you know when you are receiving, you wish it was bigger than this. But now I'm grateful for that. I've started a life. Now that when I walk back home, I think I'm now a very lively man. I do the same for the others who are retiring. I wish to thank them, my mother Sacco, and the chairman Stewart is here, for having allowed me to work with him and the board members who are here, even the CEO. I've been on the board for 12 years, and out of the 12 years, I was a vice for 10 years. Thank you, Mr. Chairman, for not impeaching me. I think we worked well. This position of a vice is very terrible. As a teacher, I was a deputy head teacher, and I was a deputy head teacher for 7 years. It became very hard for me to be a head. So I've been advising teachers who become deputies, never be a deputy for more than 3 years, because we are named Kuswahili. But I'm happy, the reverse was I've been a vice chairman for 10 years. Thank you, Chair, for that support. I think I love all of you. We have worked together very, very, very well. As I live here, I wish you well. We have KETSA coming in. Please enhance that. Our livelihood, our members' livelihood depends on the movement, on KETSA, because now you are overseeing all the SACCOs which are teacher basic dependent. So I wish you well. KETSA, oye! 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 Thank you so much. Thank you.
Standing here. Huyu mzee amesema mazuri, si kweli? Na in honor of him, ask for a real number with us with you.
A real number. Do you have a real number? Which one do you have?
Gentlemen and ladies, we cannot be seated, yet we have a general in the house. Can we all stand and dance to this man? How better? Hey, 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 your voice. Hey, alafu chini, chini, come on, congratulate you. You don't hear that? tafadhali. Wanachea. Pole pale. Nitafutia anguka nayo. We must make sure that we hit our targets. Tunaanguka na. Okay? Now I want you to assume your positions. Hold it. Now, weka mguu ya left mbele. Mguu ya left mbele. Alafu ya right nyuma. Then inama kidogo tu. Then unaenda mbele, unarudi nyuma. Sawa? Mbele, alafu nyuma. Mbele, alafu twende kazi nije. Let's go. Hapo. Paka tukorudi. Mbele, nyuma. Mbele, nyuma. Mbele, nyuma. Mbele. Haya, twende chini. Enda chini. Chini. Haya, twende. Thank you, well, no.